We are entering the market square of Old Warsaw, which was always the heart of the city. Behind me, you can see a house with very nice decoration that was made in the 20s of the 20th century with these two ladies that are in a bit of a Slavic folk style, that are the work of a famous Polish painter, Zofia Stryjeńska. The houses that are around the Old Town, the market square of the Old Town, were always inhabited by the richest inhabitants of the city. If you look at the houses, you will see that they share some characteristic feature. One of them is the size of the house. Most of them have 3 windows per floor, because in the past this was the regular size of the house here at the market square. However, if you had a noble title, then you had the right to build a house with 4 windows, which I will show you in a second. Also because in the past you had to pay tax depending on the number of windows that you had. We are coming to the corner where right in front of me there is another house which is housing the cultural center here in the Old Town of Warsaw, which is also part of the sculptural trail of the Warsaw cellars. So we can also visit the original cellar down there. But let's get to the center of the square and let's see the symbol of our city. As you already know from the doors of the cathedral, the symbol of the city is the Mermaid. Here you will see how the Mermaid, the most popular depiction and the most popular image of the Mermaid of Warsaw. Many people ask, why do we have a mermaid as a symbol of our city? Well, there are several different legends saying how it all started. One of them says that once upon a time there were twin sisters, twin mermaids, living in the Baltic Sea. They decided to live somewhere else. So one of them went to current-day Copenhagen and stayed there, but her sister wanted to live not in the sweet water, but in the salty water. So she swam up the Vistula River. Back then, in this area, there was no city, but just a small village with fishermen living here. Fishermen knew about the mermaid, and one of them decided to catch the mermaid and start to make business on her, so to show her somewhere on the markets and earn some money. So one night he went to the river, managed to catch the mermaid, but as it was already late and dark, he had to keep her somewhere for a night. And he forgot about one very important thing, as the mermaids or the sirens in Greek mythology were the ones famous for their hypnotizing voice. And as the person that was taking care of the mermaid didn't plug his ear, when the mermaid started to sing, she seduced him, and when she asked him to release her, he just took her back to the river and released her. She said that in the future there will be a city built here, and there will come the times when she will come back and when she will defend the city. That's why anytime you see the Mermaid of Warsaw, you will see her holding a sword and a shield in her hands. One very interesting thing, which is characteristic for Warsaw, are the extra floors built on the top of some of the houses. Those floors that look a bit like small houses built on the top of the regular tenement house. Those are the floors that have no floor. The only function of them was to put more sun inside, as these houses are quite narrow and very long, so always the middle of the house was quite dark, and that's why they needed this extra light. So even though you can see there kind of balconies, but actually it wasn't possible to enter there. In the past, one family was living in one building, which means that on the ground floor there was either a shop or a restaurant run by the family, and then above there were the private apartments. After the post-war reconstruction, most of the buildings here still have some restaurants on the ground floor, but then above those are regular housing. This is a regular housing estate, so there are apartments of the people. The exception is the site behind me. All these houses host a historical Museum of Warsaw, and this is actually the site of the market which preserved the World War II in the best condition. Why? Because already before the war, there was an idea to open the museum, and to strengthen the construction, there was extra concrete put into the building. So that's why they had just a stronger construction. Okay, so where do you want to go next?